Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with your tropical update, Hurricane Central Live update. This is kind of preempting my the weather report, which will return tomorrow. I just wanted to do one more of these hurricane-centric updates for you guys here across the YouTube universe and keep you steady, keep you prepared and not scared. And again, we're not expecting any landfall from either one of these systems, but it's going to be causing some problems up and down the East Coast, folks. Rip currents, heavy wave action, once again, similar to what we saw with Aaron. And then for you folks along the East Coast, boy, you're going to have a nice little cool air wedge coming down here as a result of these two systems. And then you folks in the Midwest are going to bake on the backside of that high. So that's what we got to deal with these two systems. But anyway, here's what we're looking at. The latest update at 8 o'clock, Humberto actually re-strengthened. It was 130 mile per hour winds at the 5 o'clock advisories, come back up to 145. Don't know if we'll get that eye to clear it back out and see it yet again, but we'll see. It is forecast a weekend as it moves up toward the north there. And of course, we have Imelda right here. It's come up a little bit. It's up to 50 mile per hour winds. So we're going to break down this for you here on this update. Now, before we get going into this full thing, if you appreciate a no-nonsense approach to weather, if you're tired of being scared and hyped to death by some of the platforms out there in the YouTube universe, and you'd like to get it straightforward from an experienced meteorologist, I'd consider it an honor and a privilege to be one of your weather sources. So please hit that subscribe button if you can and help our little channel out. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so here is our two storms right there. You kind of see how close they are. We're definitely dealing with the Fujiwara effect. That's when you have two tropical systems that are in their same sphere of influence, and Humberto being the stronger and bigger of the two storms is what's responsible for yanking this thing out to sea. Now, if Humberto was not there, we'd probably be talking about a landfalling hurricane up along the South Carolina coast potentially, and maybe steering that back into the southeast, causing some serious flooding problems had Humberto not been there. But because it's there and a bigger storm, it's going to be saving us looking at some pretty good weather here in the wake of these storms moving on out. Now, here's the close-up on Humberto. Very impressive. Again, moving to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Top sustained winds at 145, so a very strong Category 4 hurricane as this thing continues to move off toward the northwest, eventually making a turn to the north. And it looks like it's going to be, I think, far enough away from the Bermuda that maybe it will be okay. Now, the winds fields have expanded. Now, on Saturday, the hurricane force winds only went about 25 miles from the center. Now it's some 65 miles from the center. So it's really expanded out. And the tropical storm force winds, which were about 105, now it's about 185. So it's definitely grown in size, which is typical when you get this was once a Category 5 hurricane, 160 mile per hour wind. So the winds kind of relax and kind of spread out a little bit here. And that's what we're seeing here for this morning. All right, let's go look at that track again. We're going to take this thing right on up to the northeast. Notice we got tropical storm watches up there in Bermuda, but it's a Imelda that's really more of a threat to Bermuda than anything else because of its track, which I'm going to show you here in a second. We'll turn that line on for you real quick so you kind of see where this thing's going. Again, all up and down the eastern seaboard, though, folks, we're going to see a lot of heavy seas all up in here. So some very rough surf, rip currents will be a problem. So just folks, just be careful on those coastal areas. All right, so let's go take a look at the other storm. This one being Imelda, top winds up to 50. So it went up from 45 to 50 from the morning advisory. We got tropical storm warnings up into the Bahamas. Not too bad there as this thing's going to be curving on out to sea, but it's going to be really close. This might take a direct hit on Bermuda. You see the track line there kind of going right over the island there. So that is going to be, again, something that could be a bit of a problem here as this moves on through. So, again, it's probably going to look at winds maybe up to 80 miles per hour or so as this goes on by. But, again, once this gets out in the open Atlantic, we don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to deal with the cool air on the back side of this. Again, we're dealing with sea surface temperatures, which are very warm out there. I'm going to show the anomaly map here. It's still running very high, very close to what we were seeing last year. There it is right there. This is the norm right now. So we got a lot of latent heat out in the Atlantic. And really, once these two systems go by, there's nothing on the horizon going out to October the 10th. Usually, once we get past the 15th, if getting a major hurricane to make a landfall in the United States becomes more and more less likely, just because the fact that we got changing into the fall season. You're dealing with higher wind shear probability. You're not dealing with as much heat. You got a greater probability of getting dry air into the system. So we may be able to, I'm hoping, we may not make it through, we may be able to get the whole season without a landfalling system in the U.S. And after what we had last year, that really wouldn't be a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You had Helene, and then you had Mitch last year. So I mean, yeah, we're getting a bit of a break. We deserve that. All right. So here is the ESON's ensemble model here again. You can see here goes Umberto going out, Yankee and Imelda out. I was noticing something here, trying to spin up here in the Gulf, but it kind of goes down into the Yucatan area there, so nothing there. And then you got some tropical waves out here going out the next 10 days. We'll see if anything comes out there. But right now, don't see anything new that's going to come out. So we're really kind of at the peak Atlantic fury right now of the season. I don't know if we'll see another situation where we're going to have two named potential hurricanes out there this coming up week, because I think once we get deeper in October, it's just going to be a little harder to do. All right, so there's that. I do want to show you real quickly let me go over here. I do want to show you the wave action here. Just hold on one second. Let me get this up for you real quick, as I do want to show you that the amount of the stuff that's going to be kicking up out in the Atlantic is going to be quite tremendous, quite severe. All right, so I do want to get that up for you real quick. So let me get that up. I did not pull it up for you. I had it up, then I got rid of it like a dummy. Let me get it here real quick. So log in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the wave action here along the coast. So it's going to be pretty dramatic there across the southeast. Here's my wave action, and let's go to the ocean here real quick. And I'll get this up for y'all quickly here, and the southeast coast. Here we go. All right, there we go. All right, so here I want to show you the wave action here. So here is the wave action coming on in here. Again, see that orange here coming along the coast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. We're talking 14, 16-foot seas, so it's going to be pretty rough. So that's going to continue today and into tomorrow. Should begin to diminish as we go toward Wednesday and Thursday. So as this thing moves on by, we'll see things begin to improve. But for today, tomorrow, it's going to be pretty rough surf. As you can see there, going up to Tuesday. And then by the time we get into Wednesday, things begin to settle down. So today and tomorrow are going to be the worst for those surf conditions. All right, let's go look at the European model again. This is kind of showing you what's going on here with the European model. Back this up here. Again, here it goes through the Bahamas. There goes Umberto going right past Bermuda. And then we'll see the other storm go pretty close to it, boy. Imelda's going to get very close to Bermuda and goes on out to sea. And then in its wake, we got this nice area of high pressure up and down the eastern seaboard. We're going to have a nice cool air wedge here kind of coming down here all the way down to the southeast. So everybody here from the New England area all the way down to the southeast is going to be looking pretty good. However, on the back side of that, you guys out here into the Midwest here are going to really start to roast. Your temperatures are going to be running like some 20 degrees plus, like Illinois, Wisconsin, areas up in here because of the cool air wedge here, and you get the backside warming here on the south side. So that's going to make it a little warm and toasty there. So anyway, so here's the cameras. We'll continue to watch this. The Turks and Caicos looking better there. They got a little more sunshine right now. But Jacksonville, Florida, Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, those three areas, the surf conditions, and I'm already noticing the surf coming up compared to yesterday. They've definitely been coming up a little bit. Those are where the rough seas are going to be here for today. All right, so again, we're making it through the hurricane season. We got our two named storms out there. It'll be interesting to see if Umberto tries to get that eye back established again. The fact that the pressure was falling this morning when the Hurricane Hunter aircraft went up there. And it was a bit of a surprise to see it go back from 130 to 145 once we had the drop sounds and the pressure had come down like 938 millibars. So I think the lowest pressure I saw was 925, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But again, we'll watch these things kind of pull on out to sea, and we'll see things begin to improve out there for everybody here going into this later this week. All right, that is it for today. Tomorrow, the weather report will be back in here on our normal schedule. We'll be doing that once again. And you guys just take a good, safe day out there. And again, looks like we get to watch these two hurricanes just kind of be big fish storms. I know John Hope, my old weather compadre from the Weather Channel, wouldn't like that term, but that's exactly what these guys are. All right, you guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Weather report back in here at 8:30 tomorrow morning. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.